Beefs were frequently based on genuine tension, street politics, and personal grudges in the unfiltered and raw hip-hop scene of the 1990s and early 2000s. The Queenbridge hip-hop icons Mobb Deep, Prodigy and Havoc, and Harlem's True Life had one of the most subtle actual feuds at the time. This was about a conflict of egos, regional pride, and street cred that extended into actual confrontations and litigation. It wasn't just about bars and diss tracks. Let's examine the beginnings, development, and effects of this violent quarrel in detail. Mobb Deep had established themselves as one of the most reputable duos in hip-hop by the middle of the 1990s. Prodigy and Havoc's iconic albums, including as the infamous and Hell on Earth, vividly depicted life in Queensbridge, the largest public housing project in New York City. Their unvarnished lyrics and gritty, gloomy soundscapes struck a chord with fans who valued their streetwise storytelling in genuineness. True Life, on the other hand, was a rising talent from Harlem who was born Roberto Guzman. After serving time in jail and returning to the rap game with newfound anger, True Life, who was well known for his gritty delivery and street reputation, made a big splash in the early 2000s. He joined Jay-Z's Rockefeller Records, which provided him with a platform to display his skills. Although he had a devoted following thanks to his mixtapes and street songs, True Life was a divisive figure due to his tough demeanor and propensity for getting into fights. In the early 2000s, a mix of hip-hop rivalry, personal grievances, and local pride gave rise to the Mobb Deep vs. True Life feud. This is how it all began. Harlem and Queensbridge have long been competitive neighborhoods in New York City. True Life was a fundamentally Harlem representative, just as deeply as Mobb Deep represented Queensbridge. Artists from the two regions frequently faced competitive pressure and underlying shots as a result of the territorial competition. A phrase from the 2003 song Gangstas by True Life was interpreted by many as a jab at Mobb Deep. Prodigy, who is known for being direct, didn't like how disrespectful True Life seemed to him. In interviews and on the record, Prodigy responded by casting doubt on True Life's veracity in charging him with inflating his street reputation. With both sides exchanging punches in the press, the verbal battle swiftly intensified. When Mobb Deep and True Life were both in a New York City nightclub in 2005, everything came to a head. There was a yelling match that almost got physical. Before that could happen, security stepped in, but it only served to deepen the conflict. Some of True Life's songs, such as Wanna Be a Gangsta and Hood Hottest, were seen as jabs at Mobb Deep. In response, Prodigy and Havoc released their own subliminal messages on songs like Get It Forever and The Infamous. The fans were left wondering who was winning the verbal battle. The beef has real-world ramifications in addition to the songs. True Life and Mobb Deep both possess street cred, and the rivalry attracted interest from several criminal factions in New York City. The scenario was further exacerbated by affiliations and behind-the-scenes conflict rumors. When True Life was detained and prosecuted in relation to the stabbing death of a man during a brawl in Manhattan in 2009, his career came to an abrupt end. His rap career was essentially ended when he was found guilty of manslaughter and given a prison sentence. In the late 2000s and early 2010s, Prodigy, who had fought sickle cell anemia for the majority of his life, also struggled with his own health issues. He kept putting out songs and writing about his life, but his personal health issues overshadowed the feud with True Life. Prodigy tragically died in 2017 as a result of complications from his illness. One of the most underappreciated rivalries in hip-hop is the one between Mobb Deep and True Life. It was important to the history of rap in New York City, even though it never achieved the same level of public recognition as rivalries like Tupac vs. Biggie or Jay-Z vs. Nas. The feud between Mobb Deep and True Life remained unresolved, in contrast to earlier disputes that were held against the pair with no signs of reconciliation. Everyone was curious about Prodigy's death and True Life's prison sentence. Even though Mobb Deep's impact is still amazing, his legal battle put True Life's career in a complete reversal. The feud is proof that real disputes can ruin a career in the arts. Mobb Deep and True Life's feud was more than just a rap feud, it was a conflict between communities, street politics, and egos that captured the subtleties of hip-hop culture. Even though the beef's intensity has subsided over time, it's still an intriguing period in New York City rap history. As listeners, we can only speculate about what may have happened if the two groups had worked together instead of arguing. However, certain feuds are best left unresolved in hip-hop, where originality and ego tend to rule. What are your thoughts on this beef? Would it have been preventable, in your opinion, or was it predestined to end that way? Post your thoughts in the comments section below.